Yeah, they're yeah.
So let's pivot right
Crazy
here.
beast.
That is some good Magic talk we
Wow.
just had. Now we have talked about that Jay Crowder, John Wall,
Richaun.
Will Bar. Yeah. So who else has now? Okay, Rudy Gay, Jay Crowder, Will Barton, John Wall are the four guys that we
Hero.
kind of those are the four guys that we've said are probably buyout guys. John Wall, Jay Crowder, Will Barton, and Rudy Gay. Looks like Richaun
Yeah.
Holmes is joining that. Nerlens Noel's another guy we heard. So Richaun Holmes and Nerlens Noel could be the two big guys who are bought out. Now, looking at Richaun Holmes, he was part of the process. Sixers is where he got his start, but he got paid over here $10 million a year by the Kings from 2 years ago. And he hasn't really been a part of Mike Brown's rotation, but with the Kings, in his 3 years between 2019 and 21, he was a guy who averaged about 12 points a night at like 64% from the field, grabbed, 7 to 8 rebounds, dished the ball out, and got you a block a night. He could be, for a team like the Lakers, a team like the Nets, a lot of contending teams would like to have themselves, the Mavs, Portland Trailblazers would all like to have themselves a guy like Richaun Holmes. So what are your initial thoughts right here when you see Richaun Holmes being bought out as a potential guy that a team could go after?
It's beautiful. He had that spot start when Sabonis was out recently last week, and he did great. The Richaun Holmes situation is just kind of weird in general because he was pretty much one of the more reliable starters in the league as far as just putting up stats. The defense worries me for a team, but maybe you could get away with it on a squad like Los Angeles where you have AD and you have TB31 right there. But defensively, from what I saw and heard in the beginning of the season, it's that bad.
His defense?
It's that bad.
But he showed in the past that he could be a rim protector.
So, well, we know that blocks aren't the all be all with.
Yeah, you're right there.
So
explain what's the problem with him on defense.
Well, Skip. No, it might be speed. It might just be. I'm not quite sure. We haven't seen him play basketball this year. I just remember I made like almost daily Kings videos at the start of the season. My big question mark was what the hell's going on with Richaun Holmes, and at the time,
was the drop coverage like he's too slow? He looks like people are blowing past him.
It's a good question. I think it might just be he's slow, might not be able to protect the rim. I'm not quite sure, but because if offensively he's not kind of hooping for me, it's almost like the thing is this: if DeMarcus Cousins had that bad defense, right? He was that bad on defense. Why not take what is Richaun Holmes, 29 years old, from my home state of Illinois, who has a career 9 points. He's had a year where he's put up 14 and 8 and 1.6 blocks like that.
Damn, his defensive rating's terrible this year.
Yeah, it's got to be. That bad. I had that year it was 103.
I mean, he's never really.
The last 3 years, 115 defensive rating.
He's only had 1 year with the Kings being a positive defender, and what's crazy is he was a plus defender for the tanking Sixers.
Oh, that's right. He played for the Sixers.
So, do you think a team like the Mavs or the Lakers or the Clippers, those are all the teams that we know, or the Portland Trailblazers, or all these teams that we know that are looking for a backup big man? If Richaun Holmes and Nerlens Noel were both bought out, who would you choose? I personally would choose Nerlens Noel, but that's also personal bias because I've always been a big Nerlens Noel fan.
No, you definitely have to take Nerlens Noel over
just the defense and the rebound. I think they might be the same rebounds. I mean, Richaun might be a better rebounder than Nerlens, but I think the defensive potential you have with Nerlens, and also knowing that Nerlens can finish with dunks, is huge. It's interesting when you get to these buyout markets because you don't know who's who's going to be the right person to go after, if that makes sense. Like, who's going to make a difference? Like, because when you look at a guy at Richaun Holmes, you're like, oh, is this just because it's not a good fit with the scheme that, Mike Brown is running?
Yeah, new coach. Is he just out of the rotation?
Yeah, and like, it's just not a fit, And can you go to like a team like the Miami Heat and they just fucking
Derek Favors is an interesting guy I kind of forgot about.
Okay, so the thing is the Hawks had him on a 10-day contract, and they didn't sign into a second 10-day contract, and I think that tells us everything we need to be told.
Yeah, it might be.
Because the Hawks need to back up like a third big man, and they could have cut Frank Kaminsky and signed Derek Favors for the rest of the season, and they chose to keep Frank Kaminsky instead of Derek Favors.
Frank can hoop.
He can hoop, but like,
it might be kind of based on age, but yeah.
Prime Frank versus Prime Derek, who are you choosing? Prime Derek.
Prime Derek Favors, yeah. I'll take a prime Derek Favors.
And Derek Favors is only, 32, 34, and Frank's like 29. So
Derek Favors is only, if he's less than 34, I'll be shocked. Wow, he's 31. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think
that is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Derek Favors is 31 years old
and been in the league since like 2010.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, crazy, right? So I just think maybe the Hawks not keeping him is just